Okay, so now it is 6:24 p.m. Friday, November 8th, 2019. It's been a while now, a couple hours since I made the last video talking about how my Google reviews of, the FBI, for example, are not public. It's just only available to me when I'm signed in to see. So it's not much of a review. My review of Randall Kurtz, where the FBI harassed me, is not public. I thought it was. I thought it was available to the public to view, but it wasn't. I went over to Yelp and copied and pasted the FBI review from Google reviews to Yelp, and here it is. The first review, and 11/8/2019, which is today. This is actually just a copy and paste from October 27th. Because as I said, I didn't realize that Google Reviews was hiding my review of the FBI because I signed out. Right now I'm signed in, but I signed out just to see if my review would show up, and sure enough, it did not show up. So that means that my reviews, except for La Colombe, Notre Shop, Gold Coast Car Wash, and Crave Kebab. Where is it? Crave Kebab right here. Were public, but my reviews of like Annie's Pancake House, where I was harassed by Skokie cops, my review of Diamond Expedited, which I had a bad experience, and my review of Niles North High School, which I was stalked by FBI agents, my review of Spring Valley Nature Center, which I was harassed by FBI agents, and probably somebody who was a Schaumburg cop, Kersner Orthodontics, where, the guy has a nasty form of herpes and said that he knows where I live, meaning that he's going to get me if I tell anybody that he has a nasty form of herpes. I'm going to read these reviews out loud. I wrote them, for instance, I transferred them to Yelp. I mean, it's still on Google Reviews, but it's only available to me to see, which is pointless because a review is supposed to tell the public about what's going on. So if I'm the only one who's able to see it, it's pointless to have a Google review of some place like Kersner Orthodontics. If I'm the only one who can see that the review indicating that, he's got this nasty form of herpes. This is the guy right here who said he knows where I live. This guy has a nasty form of herpes, and I noticed it on his lip. It's like white little specks all around his lip. And he noticed that I noticed it because I got a shocked expression on my face when I went to get my Invisalign treatment from him when I was interviewing him, because he was standing in front of a well-lit window, and the sunlight from the outside of the window lit up the white spots on his face, on his lip. Those are indicative of herpes, because he's inside, thousands of people's mouths. He's an orthodontist, and he probably caught it. It goes right through the latex gloves, and that's what I was trying to communicate in this review, but Google shadow banned it. But this is what I posted on Yelp today. I transferred it to Yelp from Google Reviews, and there's the review. There's me, Skokie, Illinois. Okay. And make sure I put a picture of me. And this review, Google review, was originally posted a long, long time ago. Let's see, it says a year ago. So that was probably like as of this writing, November 8th, 2017. So that was more than a year ago, because it's 2019 now. It's November 8th, 2019. And I posted this 2 years ago. District of Office of Congressman Quigley, that was related to Lionel from Lionel Nation on YouTube. I criticized him. That was removed from public view from the Google reviews. It says that everything was removed except Gold Coast Car Wash, which was originally removed. See, it said my original review of this ripoff of car wash was mysteriously removed. I mean, I am able to see a review that I wrote once I signed into my Google account, but the review isn't viewable to the public. And I go on to say, how favorable reviews of businesses, which I wrote about on Google Reviews, are still available to the public to read, but the unfavorable reviews I wrote about these con artists at Gold Coast Car Wash was removed from public view. I will make it my mission to expose these con artists at this crappy car wash. Now I'm even angry. So once I called out Google on shadow banning my reviews, they posted it back up. Or not, they didn't post it back up, but they left the criticism of me criticizing Google of shadow banning reviews. Notre Shop, I left a favorable review that's available to the public to see. La Colombe Coffee Roasters, that was a favorable review that was left for people to see. And then the unfavorable reviews got shadow banned, so the public cannot see them. But I can see them, making me think that the public can see them. I was never told by Google that these reviews are going to be shadow banned. So Google made me think that these reviews were still available for the public to view. I mean, that's what I wanted. See, Crave Kebab, I left a favorable review. This was not shadow banned. Destiny Dental was shadow banned. It was also deleted off of Yelp. Yelp sent me an email. I mentioned that in the last video that they've removed my Destiny Dental review because they thought that it was in violation of their terms of service. I didn't post it back on Yelp, but I'll read it in this video. North Shore Medical Group, 9977 Woods Drive in Skokie, Illinois. This was also shadow banned. I left a Yelp review, but it's 9933 Woods Drive on Yelp. I posted this on 11/8/2019. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go through all these reviews and read them out loud. Okay, FBI Chicago Field Office, 2111 Roosevelt Road, Chicago, Illinois, 60608. On Yelp, it's just Federal Bureau of Investigation, 219 South Dearborn Street. There is no Yelp location for the FBI Chicago Field Office at 2111 Roosevelt Road. The only one that I could find was the one at 219 South Dearborn, which is really not the one that I wanted to post about, but it's the only one that I could find, so I had no choice but to post it there, and there it is. It's the first review, 11/8/2019. I made sure to include pictures. Okay, so there's me, there's John Donka, the professor, psychology professor, and the other psychology professor who gave the FBI agents fellatio, Mary Johansson Schmidt, PhD, behind the back of her civil engineer husband back in 2004, fall of 2004. So here we go. FBI Chicago Field Office, 2111 Roosevelt Road, Chicago, Illinois, 60608. This is what I wrote. Fuck you, your fucking kin, your wives, your uncles, your husbands, your aunts, your citizens, you'll raise hell, I fucking promise. You motherfuckers are covering it all up. You know about me. Judge Margaret Quinn of the Skokie Courthouse knows about me. Following me since I was 3, poisoning me, putting bombs on my car, damaging my cars, entering my home and stealing from me, putting cameras in my hotel room during QuakeCon 2002 in Texas and watching me masturbate and spreading the video to make fun of me, putting some device that caused my head to droop with the flick of a switch in the money room of the Jewel Osco at 9449 North Skokie Boulevard in Skokie, Illinois. These motherfuckers put a device in the coin counting room at the Jewel Osco, Skokie, Illinois. And with the flick of a switch, it would cause my head to droop somehow. If you were there, you'd see everyone's head droop. I was checking Okay, so if you were there, you'd see everyone's head droop as I was checking out groceries at cash register 1, which was the lane closest to that room. The FBI agents heard me complaining that I wanted to be at that cash register. So they had management put me there at cash register 1, but they had that device in that room that was behind the customer service desk. Every time I would say hi to a customer coming through my line, the FBI agent would remotely press a button to activate that device, and you could hear a loud click coming from the room, and you could see everyone's head droop who was in the vicinity. My head would droop. 2. The FBI agents told me all of this and more while I was at the hospital in 2005 visiting Dr. Michael. The motherfuckers wired him up and told him to lie and say that I threatened Dr. Michael in order to justify the wiring. So this is in reference to the hospital visit at that 9933/9977 Woods Drive hospital that I left a review for that I just mentioned earlier in this video. Dr. Michael, that's his first name. He's a German doctor. He followed me along with the FBI agents to a strip club called Club O in Harvey, Illinois. And, befriended one of the strippers there, took the stripper home, had sex with her. They brought the doctor along with Michael the cop, which is a Skokie police officer who shot his wife and claimed that it was an accident, and they let him go. Along with the FBI agents were at Club O. They were stalking me at that strip club that I used to frequent. And this was probably back in 2007, 2008, around that time. And they wired up the stripper. It was a midget stripper, but she was very beautiful. It was like 2000. She was about 4'9". I wouldn't say it was a midget. I mean, I don't know. But they wired her up. Her stage name was Rachel. She was from Texas, and she would go there to that strip club to make money because she was trying to pay off a condo in Texas. That the mortgage went up because it was, I guess, a variable rate mortgage. She used to be a Texas cop. I think she was like a parole officer or something like that. She told me that she was a cop. She used to be a cop. But I guess she didn't make enough money doing that. Or she maybe still does that, and she does the stripping on the side. She's actually really a prostitute there. She told me that she fucks guys in Club O. She told me that she had sex with Dr. Michael. Dr. Michael actually was in that strip club as I was talking to Rachel. And Rachel was wearing an earpiece, and Dr. Michael was telling her what to say. Dr. Michael took Rachel past my residence in Skokie and showed her where I lived. And she mentioned that, Dr. Michael did all this. Dr. Michael showed her some videos of me that the FBI agents had covertly taken of me over the years, showing me masturbating. They showed that video to Rachel at Dr. Michael's residence in Skokie. He also lives in Skokie, but he lives on the good part of town. Dr. Michael told me this back in 2005 during this doctor's office visit where Dr. Michael was also wired up by the FBI agents. I saw the FBI agents wire him up. Okay, so to continue, the FBI agents told Dr. Michael to lie and say that, to justify the wiring, Dr. Michael should say that I threatened Dr. Michael twice. And that's why the FBI agents were there, wiring him up. It was a complete lie. I just went there for a medical issue. I had something on my cheek that I wanted Dr. Michael to check out and see what it was. So to continue, the motherfuckers wired him up and told him to lie and say that I threatened Dr. Michael in order to justify the wiring. What a bunch of corrupt motherfuckers. You are lucky you have all the bombs and guns and heavy artillery, you motherfuckers. I don't care anymore. You motherfuckers are keeping the citizenry hostage. That's why you've made it difficult for the citizenry to have access to bombs and weapons of war to cut you down, you corrupt terrorist assholes. The FBI are the real terrorists. They deserve to die. These assholes poisoned me, and I got cancer in my late 20s, colon cancer. What a bunch of motherfuckers. No wonder Timothy McVeigh wanted the federal government bombed to bits and pieces. You fucking assholes, come and get me. You know exactly who I am. These motherfuckers had my psychology 101 professor, Mary Johansson Schmidt, give them a blowjob. Okay, so that's this one right there, Mary Johansson Schmidt. She was married, this was back in 2004, to a civil engineer husband. I actually saw her husband. The FBI agents wanted to make it seem like I was having sex with her, when in fact the FBI agents were having sex with her. So anything I accuse the FBI agents of doing, the FBI agents turn it right back around and point the finger at me. So they frame me. The FBI agents were trying to get her husband to think that I was having sex with her, when in fact the FBI agents were having sex with her. One day when I was at an office visit, an after class office visit with Dr. Mary Johansson Schmidt, like I had some questions about the material in the psychology class, I saw her husband in the next room. They had specifically put him there in the next room, in the next office over. You know, she has a tiny little office that she shares with another teacher that I go there, and I used to go there for office visits, just to ask her questions about the class and stuff. The FBI just made it seem like to her husband, they lied to her husband to make him think that I was going there to have sex with her all this time, when actually the FBI agent set up a recital and had sex with her, and she gave him blowjobs behind the scenes, behind the stage during the recital. She came to class coughing a few days later, because the FBI agents have sex with prostitutes. They have STDs, and they probably gave her an STD. The FBI agents even admitted this in the 2005 doctor's office visit with Dr. Michael. So let's see where I was. My head would droop. Terrorists. They deserve to die. Colon cancer. What a bunch of motherfuckers. No wonder Timothy McVeigh wanted the federal government bombed to bits and pieces. You fucking assholes, come and get me. These motherfuckers had my psychology 101 professor Mary Johansson Schmidt give them a blowjob. The FBI set up a fake recital at Oakton Community College in the second semester of 2004 and had her suck their dicks backstage. She came to class coughing the next class period because the FBI agents gave her STDs because they have sex with prostitutes. She was married to a civil engineer, and she was sucking the FBI agents' dicks behind her husband's back. The FBI should be considered a terrorist organization, but the citizenry is too scared to get rid of them because they are simply outmatched in terms of weaponry. This is what the founders of the USA feared, a citizenry who were afraid of their government. That's why they had the Second Amendment, so that the citizenry could stand up to these fuckers. The government should be afraid of the people, not the other way around. And that's what the founders of the government said. They were revolutionaries. They fought against their own government to create the USA because the king was fucking with them, just like the FBI and the government fucks with us today. I just had the Skokie police roll past my residence as I was typing this at about 7:03 p.m. on October 27, 2019. Now I have a video of that. I'm going to show that in a second. Seems like I'll show it right now. Hold on. Let me pause this and I'll pull up the video. Okay, so here they're going to come up. It's 1902 right now. It's not right now, but you know, as I'm pulling this up. So it says October 27, 2019, Sunday at 7:03, and here they come. They're going to come. You're going to see there. See? There they go. Right there. Okay. Okay, so now going back to the review. Seems like I'm being monitored and intimidated. FBI stands for Federal Bureau of Intimidation. Come and get me, motherfuckers. Have the taxpayer pay for me. Free food and a place to live. It's not like I'm going to have a job. Every job that I've taken has been sabotaged by the FBI. So you see why these guys want to take these reviews down. Because I'm exposing, you know. They harassed me in school all the way up to college level. This is no way to live. I can't focus on anything except that these FBI cunts Except what these FBI cunts did to me. Fuck you all, burn in hell. Dawood Rui, October 27th, 2019. That's when I wrote it. I added some pictures. That's John Danka. He converses with Mary Johansson Schmidt because they're both in psychology professors. And that's me. I left a picture of myself so that they can't say it's somebody else. I wrote these. Okay, moving on. And then I transferred this review to Yelp because, I've figured out that this review, Google Reviews, is worthless because they shadow ban these reviews. It's not available for the public to see. They just trick you into thinking that it's available for the public to see because whenever you're signed in, like I am right here, to Google and my Google account, it'll show up. But once I sign out and view the review as a public person and not as the account holder, the review simply is not there. It's simply not there. It's not visible. Now, other reviews are. So, like, for instance, I found a similar review. Let's see here. Oh. Okay, so if I go to a similar review by Lydia L., and this is the FBI, same place as I left my review, FBI Chicago Field Office, 2111 Roosevelt Road, Chicago, Illinois. Lydia L. Looks like she's having the same problem that I'm having. This would be a no star, she writes, if the option was available. I'd been a victim of unconstitutional surveillance conducted by the FBI, CIA, and NSA because they wanted my story of child abuse and sexual assault as I encountered a great deal of it. It was voyeurism in my home, and I experienced the fallout. So she goes on to say that she's a victim of unconstitutional surveillance by the FBI, CIA. Now, this review is available for me to see. It's by Lydia L. She's got 20 reviews according to this, and this was left 2 years ago. And right now it's, as I said, November 8th, 2019, 6:48. So her review is posted and alive and well and available to the public to see, but my review is not. Okay, what does that say? That says that right now that says that I'm still being investigated. I'm not investigated, but surveilled under the guise of being investigated, harassed, stalked under the guise of being investigated. Right, because my review was removed. It's not available for public view right now on Google Reviews. So let's go to Randall Kurtz, D.C. This is the chiropractor at 8062 North Milwaukee Avenue, and I transferred this to Yelp, 8026 North Milwaukee Avenue, Randall Kurtz, D.C. There's a picture of me and 11/8/2019. The FBI followed me, so let's go to this. This is a Google review now. The FBI followed me to this place back in the fall of 2003. I was having back pain. Michael, the Skokie cop who shot and killed his wife and claimed it was an accident. Remember, I mentioned Michael? He's an Italian guy, okay? He's one of the top cops. The Skokie police at the top level are run by Italians. It's like mobster organization, and claimed it was an accident. Followed me here all along with the two FBI agents who have been following me since the early 1990s. I asked Kurtz if he had any muscle relaxants for my pain. The FBI took that to mean that I wanted to commit a mass shooting because the North Hollywood bank robbers were purportedly on muscle relaxants during the shooting. This was back in the 90s. And regarding this, North Hollywood bank robbers were purportedly, this was back in the 90s, and during the office visit in 2005 with Dr. Michael, I could hear through the earpiece that Dr. Michael was wearing, because he was putting the earpiece up to my ear. He was standing very close, so I could hear the FBI agent talking to Dr. Michael via the earpiece. And the FBI agent mentioned that the reason why they took notice of this was because I asked for muscle relaxants. So they were using everything that I was saying against me. They were using the fact that I was asking for muscle relaxants to mean that they were taking that and using it against me, using my words against me. Just like how cops say anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, they were taking anything that I was saying and using it against me to make it seem like I was going to do a mass shooting when in fact I was in actual pain. The FBI agents even talked to Kurtz and said that Kurtz noticed a knot in my back, and then the hidden cameras that they had in Oakton Community College in the overhead projectors, which were always placed in front of me in class because they were secretly, covertly recording me from a hidden camera inside the overhead projectors from where like the fan slots are in the overhead projector. They had a little hidden camera and a microphone in there. They could see me massaging my back from time to time where it hurt. So they knew that I was hurting. And they still, treated me as if I was a terrorist. So I was in pain, trying to study, trying to get this back pain fixed, but they were treating me as if I was a terrorist. Okay, so I go on to say the FBI took that to mean that I wanted to commit a mass shooting because the North Ottawa bank reportedly on muscle relaxants during the shooting. When I left the office and got into my car, Michael came out of the cupboard that he was hiding in during my office visit with Kurtz and pointed in my direction while looking in the direction of the FBI agents who were sitting in their early 90s unmarked light blue Ford Escort, which was parked directly to the left of my car in the next parking spot over in the parking lot, as if to say, he is guilty, follow him. He is up to no good, end quote. You know when they say, quote, anything you say and do can and will be used against you, end quote. That's what Michael the cop was doing. He was using my request for muscle relaxants against me. At one point in time, back in 2005, Michael the cop tried to run me over in his police cruiser. Skokie is run by a bunch of corrupt Jews, Italians, and Irishmen. They are East Coast mafia types who have infiltrated the Midwest as well as Hollywood and parts of the West Coast in California. Think Harvey Weinstein. Lionel from Lionel Nation on YouTube and brother Nathaniel talk about this stuff. Anyway, Michael the cop was hiding in the cupboard and eavesdropping on my conversation with Kurtz. He was pointing at me from inside Kurtz's office from behind the glass windows. There was a parking lot in front of the office. The office is in a strip mall with parking spaces in front of the strip mall, stores and shops. Also, as Kurtz and I were walking towards the room that contains the chiropractic's chair, Michael followed close behind after Kurtz and I were inside the little room with the chiropractic's table. I mean, I could hear footsteps at the time walking to the room. It's a little small room with a table, and it was me and Kurtz in there. He was getting ready to crack my back, but he said that I was too tense and my muscles were too tense and he couldn't crack my back. And I could hear footsteps coming up to that room, and it was Michael the cop eavesdropping on our conversation. Later on, I found out during, again, the 2005 doctor's office visits with Dr. Michael, the FBI agents told me about all this. Who was making those footsteps and how Michael the cop was hiding in the cupboard and he was eavesdropping and tiptoeing around. And Michael tiptoed to and eavesdropped from behind the closed door where Kurtz and I were in. It was a little room where the patient lays down so that the chiropractor can do his thing. I saw the way Michael pointed. It was clearly meant to arouse suspicion and make the FBI agent think that I was up to no good. Actually, I was in a lot of pain and could not study because I was in so much pain. Kurtz never told me about what happened. The way I found out about this incident and who Michael the cop was and what the FBI and Michael were doing there at Kurtz's office was via the FBI agents while I was at another doctor's office visit at a hospital on Woods Drive in Skokie, Illinois, which is the 2005 doctor's office visit where a whole bunch of cops were hiding in the hospital ready to kill me at the instructions of the FBI agents. The FBI agents had Judge Margaret Quinn of the Skokie courthouse listening in via phone remotely to all of the things that the FBI agents were saying in the conversation that was being had in the doctor's office between me and Dr. Michael, via the earpiece because they had wired him up. The FBI agents had wired up Dr. Michael, and the FBI agents were planning to ask Judge Marquin for a warrant right then and there via telephone. Like, Judge Marquin was listening in from a remote location, and the FBI agents were trying to get a remote warrant as Judge Margaret Quinn was listening in, and she denied the warrant. But the FBI agents, I guess, were hoping to get the warrant so that the cops could raid that doctor's office visit. They were hiding in the hospital, getting ready to kill me. They were armed and ready to kill me. Dead or alive. They wanted to get me dead or alive. I could hear Judge Margaret Quinn denying the FBI agents the warrant. I remember specifically the FBI agents asking Judge Margaret Quinn, "Can we get a warrant?" They were asking it like that, like with emotion in their voice. It was all an act. And I could hear Judge Margaret Quinn yelling out no. How do I know it was Judge Margaret Quinn? Because the FBI agents mentioned her name, but at the time I didn't know who Judge Margaret Quinn was. I got her as a judge during a trial where Officer Grabowski of the Skokie Police Department falsely accused me of a crime that I didn't commit, and I was able to take that to the Illinois Appellate Court and get it reversed. And Judge Margaret Quinn happened to be the judge that I had at that trial. It was a bench trial with lawyer Scott, middle name T as in Tom, last name Kamin, Kamin. And that's where Grabowski lied, and I had the video evidence to prove that he was lying, but Quinn found me guilty anyway, and then it went to the Illinois Appellate Court. It got reversed, and then I sued Skokie. And one of the lawyers for Skokie was a guy, I think his name was Mueller, or Mueller. At the end of the civil proceeding, which I had in federal court, the last thing he said to me was, "Good luck, Mr. Rui, you're going to need it." Because he knows what's going on. Deborah Harvey, the lawyer who Grabowski hired, I guess she was doing it all for free. I guess as a pro bono service. Deborah Harvey even said, the police, the Skokie police, are discriminating against me. She was talking with the stenographer who was there at the disposition for the civil trial, because the stenographer had seen me sitting across the table and they had asked, Deborah Harvey, who is he, meaning me. And Deborah Harvey said they're discriminating against him, meaning me, meaning the Skokie police are discriminating against me. And that's why I was there. Like, Deborah Harvey was explaining to her, that's why he's here, meaning me. Okay, so the way I found about this was that the FBI and Michael were doing their Kurt's office via the FBI agents while I was in Dr. Dawson's hospital. The name of the hospital was Northwestern back in 2005 when I visited. Now it's called North Shore. See my review of that hospital for more information. So me being the naive idiot that I am, I pointed my review readers to the review of the hospital, which is shadow banned by Google. So I didn't know this at the time of writing this review. So I thought my review was still posted. And I was writing this on October 15th. And now, just today on November 8th, I noticed that I realized that the review was shadow banned. So people who are reading this are wondering, what review of the hospital you're talking about? You're not making any sense. That's probably what people who were reading this review, if anybody read this review, were thinking when they read this line. See my review of that hospital for more information. They probably went to that review or the Google review of that hospital and saw that there was no such review by me for that hospital, and they were probably wondering, what the hell is this guy talking about? I've never gotten any sort of justice from what these FBI agents did to me throughout the years. They poisoned me. I suffered internal bleeding from the poisoning, and in 2015 I was diagnosed with colon cancer. I'm suffering in silence. It's so aggravating. The FBI should be considered a terrorist organization. This poisoning, it happened all through out the late 90s, early 2000s, and specifically in the Jewel Osco at 9449 North Skokie Boulevard. They had an informant working at the chicken fryer where I used to go get my chicken during lunch breaks. They have a grocery the grocery store at 9449 North Skokie Boulevard, Julasco. I used to work there from 1999 to 2004. In 2003, the FBI agents installed a worker there at the chicken fryer spot where I used to get my chicken inside the Julasco during my lunch breaks, and I would order, the fried drumsticks, and the informant, who the FBI agent had planted there, would put this powder that gives me diarrhea. Okay, so is this thing still recording? Okay. So what happened at the 9449 North Skokie Boulevard location was that the FBI agents had put a informant there, and he was dressed up in the Julasco uniform, with the cap and the apron, pretending to prepare chicken. And every time I would go there for my lunch break, he would, unbeknownst to me, put something in my chicken that tasted metallic. It was like acid or something that poisoned me that caused diarrhea. And when I went upstairs in the break room to eat the chicken, I could notice this metallic taste on my tongue. And then shortly after that, like 3 minutes after that, I would rush myself to the bathroom and get, bloody, watery diarrhea. And the FBI agent had a cap, and he was in the upstairs area where there's like a manager's office. There's a big break room. There are lockers there for the employees. And there's another office that had the closed door. And that's where I suspect the FBI agent was. That door was always closed. And the FBI agent was hiding in that office with a black baseball cap that has a hidden camera in the front of it. And it's remotely controlled. So you can just press a button and it'll start recording. And as I was in the bathroom stall having bloody diarrhea from this tainted chicken, the FBI agent would tip, how bathroom stalls overhead are, visible, like it's just like underneath, it's visible, and overhead it doesn't go from the bottom of the floor all the way to the ceiling. The top part is visible. Like if you, craned your head over the top of the stall, you could see inside the stall. This is what the FBI agents did with the hat. So they would take the top of the hat with the camera and point not his face, but the camera, and point it over the top of the stall and record me on the bathroom having bloody diarrhea. This is how vicious they are. This is why they're deleting my Google reviews or making it shadow banned. They don't want people to know about this. And this is embarrassing too, to admit all this, right? I'm 36 years old, jobless. They've harassed me at pretty much everywhere that I can think of that I've worked. At the Julasco job that I've had at 9449 North Skokie Boulevard, at the Factory Card and Party Outlet store that got, torn down. That's in like where Panera Bread is in Skokie. It's right across the street from the Westfield Old Orchard Shopping Mall. There used to be a Factory Card and Party Outlet store. That's where they harassed me. And, Dr. Michael came into that store at the instruction of the FBI. The FBI agent came into that store. He was with a prostitute, who was dressed sexy. They had Caitlin De La Font working as an informant for them.